It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 107. Can I say hi?
Hi.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, buddy.
That's my daughter.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, there's brother. Hey.
Hi. It's good to talk to you guys again. I hope you're having an awesome day.
Yeah.
What's that?
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. His definition of success is playing with his kids, Pat Flynn.
Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Hiring shouldn't be a hassle or a drain on your budget. Upwork is your one-stop shop to find, hire, and pay top freelance talent, saving you time and keeping costs in check all in one place. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way that they staff key projects and initiatives by assessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, administration support, marketing, and more. And I've personally used them myself and can vouch for them. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Go there now. Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat Flynn here, and welcome to episode 107. I hope you enjoyed listening to my kids there. My son saw me getting behind the mic again and was like, Daddy, could I come on and talk again to all your friends? And I was like, sure. So I brought him on, and I also wanted to bring on my daughter, who is talking a lot and actually forming sentences now. She's only a year and a half, and she's doing really well. So I wanted to introduce you to her for the first time, and I'm sure they'll both be on the show in the future. But anyway, let's get right to today's episode, which is an interview with Lisa and Jason Leek, a husband and wife, or a wife and husband combo, who has started a business at 100 Days of Real Food.com, and they share their story, how they got started, and how things started to explode for them, and how they're taking advantage of that now and making good money and passive income, and building even more traffic and getting more exposure, including in mainstream media as well, which I'm really excited to share with you. Now, I didn't even know I was doing this, but the last couple episodes, and even a number of the episodes that I have coming in the future that have already been recorded, they are success stories like this one in niches that are not the how to start a blog, how to start an online business, how to become an entrepreneur type space. And these have been the most popular interviews in the past. There's a number of them in the past that I've done that people just seem to resonate with, because I think you're more able to connect with people like this as opposed to interviews with people like Tim Ferriss or Gary Vaynerchuk. And as much as I love both of those guys, a lot of people feel like they can't relate to them, or they're just way above where we're all at. And I feel the same way sometimes. So that's why I love interviews like this. So let's just get right into today's interview. Again, this is Lisa and Jason Leek from 100daysofrealfood.com. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Lisa and Jason from 100daysofrealfood.com. Welcome, both of you, to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Pat. It's quite an honor to be here.
Jason, you emailed me actually in December talking about your success story that both of you have created together with 100 Days of Real Food, and I'm really excited to get into the journey. And I just want to start, Lisa, you started your blog. I want to talk about what were you doing before that, and then what made you decide to start the blog.
Okay, well, I was years ago working for Bank of America, just typical corporate job. And then I actually got laid off, which I was really excited about because I really wanted to be an at-home mom. And it was just kind of hard to take the plunge and give up, that full-time salary. So it was nice to have the benefits there of a severance package. And so sometime after that, in early 2010, I just had a big wake-up call about the food we were eating. We were basically eating just like any typical American family. And I watched Michael Pollan talk about where our food comes from on an Oprah episode. And it was just a huge wake-up call for me because I had no idea where our food came from. And it was the start of a complete overhaul of our diets. We thought we were eating fairly healthy, but it was actually very highly processed. So that's really what started it all. And then friends were asking me questions and wanting to know what changes we were making. And so one friend suggested I started a blog, and I thought that was ridiculous and I was not going to do it. And I sat on it for about a week, and then I was like, oh, what the heck? Maybe I will. And so it just kind of grew from there.
Well, why did you think it was ridiculous to start a blog? Because I know a lot of people feel that way too.
Well, because I'm not a writer. I always did much better in math than English. And so I was definitely concerned about putting my words out there in writing. And so I actually did pull Jason in from the very beginning and said, before I publish any of this, you have to read it. He's very good about knowing like where the commas go and, correct grammar. Mm-hmm. So that was something I was very apprehensive about. And I actually recently found a very old email that I wrote a friend about my first post. And I was like, this feels so weird, but here goes nothing. So it was definitely strange at first.
And this was back in 2010, you said?
Yes. And technically in May was when we started our 100-day pledge.
Okay, cool. Jason, what did you feel about Lisa's sort of wanting to go on this journey and start a blog? What did you feel about it at the time when it started?
Well, I was totally supportive, but I really didn't want it to be a slippery slope. I mean, I was trying to succeed in my corporate job at the time in technical sales, and I traveled a lot. And so, again, totally supportive, but very limited on what help I would provide at the time. I was basically editor only. But once it got really busy, then and she came to me for help. And when we saw the traffic that she had, then I started to monetize and really started seeing the opportunity. Totally changed my tune and got really into it and just got more and more involved.
Yeah, that was wake up call number 2.
So let's talk about that traffic. You said it started to get really busy. Lisa, when did traffic start to come to your site? You started it in May.
Yes.
How long until you started to see results? Did you ever feel like you were just doing something that you maybe shouldn't be doing?
I mean, I felt like the 100-day pledge itself at times, I questioned that just because I was like limiting the diet of my children, and there were challenges. So that was something I questioned, but not necessarily blogging about it and just keeping it real and sharing the journey. And so, I started in May, and I remember saying to Jason, "Hey, I have like 50, email subscribers. Isn't that awesome?" And he said to me, "Well, that's really just the low-hanging fruit." And I was kind of crushed me a little, but it's kind of like that advice that helps push you a little further. So then I had this idea that I really wanted to have a newspaper article about what we were doing. For some reason, that was just this goal I had in mind, and I wanted to work towards it. And I got our local Charlotte Observer to agree to do a story on us at the 50-day mark. And that came out, I can't remember the exact month, but just a couple months into it. And when the story came out, I felt like that is what put us on the map. I mean, it was a really nice big spread. And then people would say, "Oh yeah, you're the one I saw in the paper." And then Food Inc. is a pretty popular documentary that at the time had like 100,000 Facebook followers, which at the time was a lot. And they picked up the story. And that was really just like my first big bump in traffic. And of course, I retained some of it, from there. But that was what helped kind of kick things off.
That's really cool. That's actually something I've been hearing a lot more of lately, is people sort of using their local media to get started and just to kind of put themselves on the map. And I think that's a strategy that a lot of people don't really think about, because we think we have to do everything just online and Facebook and social media and all that stuff. But, these media companies are always looking for new stories. And so, of course, they picked you guys up. Now, but before we move on, can we just talk about what the site is about? I mean, what is 100 Days of Real Food for?
Well, again, I got a big wake-up call about the way we were eating. And so I did slowly start to just cut out processed food, but I wanted to actually blog about it in a way that would draw attention to how dependent so many Americans have become on highly processed food. I mean, many of people are just like listening to the big food companies and not really understanding what's in the food that they're eating. So originally when I was just kind of making changes, I thought, well, this isn't really a news story. So I said to Jason one night, what if we decided to come up with some rules and all 4 of us, go on this follow these strict rules for 100 days and blog about it? Because I don't think you should be so strict for life, but it was just kind of an experiment to see if it could be done. I thought I would blog for 100 days and move on with my life after that, to be honest. But I'm still here, almost 4 years later, with it turned into a place to share recipes and stories and tips and information. And now I actually have a cookbook coming out August 26th with 100 recipes as well. So it just turned into so much more. It's just a hot topic right now.
That's really cool. Congratulations. And, we'll look forward to that cookbook for sure. Now, Jason, when did you start taking sort of a more, I don't want to say serious role, but, actually putting more time and effort into what Lisa had already started? When did this actually turn into a business?
Well, that was January of 2012. So this would be about, 21 months into her blogging journey. And honestly, the traffic was just getting so high at that time. And she had gone to a blogging conference, which is, I think everybody should do. It just so opens your eyes to the possibilities.
Which conference was that? I'm sorry.
It was Blog Her Food in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I know Blog Her, yeah.
Yeah, and so at that time, she was getting, around a million page views a month.
Well, it was like a couple 100,000 a month in 2011, and then what happened, because January is such a peak time for this information. My traffic literally doubled from 500,000 page views a month in December to 1 million page views a month in January of 2012. And that's when I had no help other than tech help. And that's when I went to him and was like, you have got to help me. I'm drowning.
1 million page views?
Yeah, isn't that right, Jason?
Yeah, I'm working on a presentation, so I got the numbers right here in front of me. But
I'm just going from memory.
Yeah, share as many numbers as you can.
Okay, yeah. Well, earlier we were talking about the local media coverage. So if I could speak a minute about the growth in traffic,
please.
I call that effect really like the upward spiral. So you get some credibility and some mentions in local media, and then now you have again more credibility, so you can get interviews, or maybe now you're in a magazine, and so now you are in a place where you could be seen by influential people. And case in point, around that time in like spring of 2011, she was seeing around 200,000 page views a month, which is great in and of itself. But then 100 Days of Real Food landed on the Yahoo homepage in between a picture of Justin Bieber and President Obama.
I'll never forget.
Wow. I hope there's a screenshot of that.
Oh, yeah, lots of them.
Yeah, actually, I started my own blog in November called Pro Blog School, and there's a whole story about that there. But at any rate, of course, the server crashed. We had no idea that was going to happen, but we ended up seeing 1.1 million page views for that month because of that. And we retained a lot of those people. They liked what they saw. So we were at about 500,000 page views a month after that, and climbing until, again, it doubled in January. So really important to start small and just claw your way up.
That's crazy. I mean, in terms of income, and you don't have to share exact numbers, but how well is the site doing now for you guys?
Well, it's phenomenal.
Well, but I'll say at that time, from like that big jump from 500,000 to 1 million in January, I mean, I wasn't really, I was making like $100 a month. It was really nothing. But that's at the point in time that Jason thought, hey, look at how much traffic we have. We could really do something awesome with this.
No, and actually, a funny little story, Pat, that is totally related to you. This is when I was introduced to you. So that was like March of 2012. I was just trying to get my head around ad networks and how to monetize and affiliate marketing through Amazon and so forth, because we started monetizing really late to the game at 500,000 to 1 million page views. But anyway, we were sitting on the back deck, and a new neighbor walked through the backyard and just introduced himself. We started talking. He found out that we work online. He said, "Hey, have you heard about Pat Flynn and Smart Passive Income?" And I said, "No." So it's word of mouth advertising, little feedback. You'll never see that on a screen report somewhere,
I'll have to thank him.
Yeah. So anyway, so of course I checked you out and I saw your income reports, and I was just floored.
It was a complete game changer.
And not so much because we thought, oh, we'll be making $50,000 a month, but I will say we've had a Pat Flynn month before, but or two awesome. Or so. But at any rate, it was more Lisa and I getting, as business partners, getting on the same page that, hey, there is true opportunity here. We need to really work on this, but do it in a way where we keep true to her ideals and the site, and keep the customers, keep the value to the customer in mind.
Yeah,
sure.
And that's why it took us so long to monetize, because that was not, I didn't start it for that reason or that purpose at all. I never in a million years thought it would be our full-time family business. So that's why it took us so long.
Now, what was the strategy after you saw the income report and you're like, okay, let's do this, let's do it the right way? What were your first steps from there? How did you make sure you also stayed on track and stayed true to your audience? Because I know a lot of people, especially people who have sudden bursts of traffic, they all of a sudden just start throwing mad ads and it just becomes a mess, and then they lose their audience.
We might have done that a little bit.
Yeah, so... who was it? What's the website we saw? We saw
Love.
Young House Love and another couple blogger, and they just had a ton of ads on their site. I mean, we love those guys. Not bad mouthing them, but
I think they've changed it.
Yeah, they've since changed it too. But so we put some ads on the site. We started selling some ads. We actually hired a sales manager to help with that because we realized it's a lot of work. We had ad networks, Amazon, affiliate partnership. And we quickly realized, like, okay, the site's too cluttered. We want to, so we took a lot of it down, But that was the real strategy, was passive income. It's like, okay, we have this traffic, which a lot of people would kill to have, and so I wanted stuff that was automatic. Mm-hmm. So,
But I think we could stay true to ourselves because we are like split. That's Jason's side of things, and I don't even have to. It's not that I don't have like a good business sense, because trust me, I will insert an affiliate link when appropriate. But I still just do my job of sharing content, interacting with the readers. What started the whole thing, and he is like the whole other side. So I think that helps.
Yeah, and with the ad networks, I mean, I calculated or estimated last year, we probably left $60,000 on the table because we don't run processed food or pharmaceutical ads because they're contrary to our message. And I'm working currently on optimizing our ad networks, folding in multiple premium networks, and it's really, really difficult because not many people will allow you to filter the way I need to.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about those ad networks. Can you explain to somebody who doesn't really know what that means, how it works?
Yeah, well, I'm actually about to publish a Ads 101 post and a 102 behind it. But basically, you can sell ads yourself, which would mean you'd put an image on your sidebar, for example, for whatever you feel is appropriate. Maybe it's $50 when you're starting out, but that's really a whole lot of work to manage that and to be finding people yourself. So you can use an ad network. So they give you a piece of code, and then it's kind of like having a TV screen on the side of your blog, and then they control the programming. They're showing commercials to your readers essentially, and then they're giving you a revenue share on that.
But they don't have to click on it. They just have to land on your page. They don't even have to look at it, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's
so it's just display advertising. So, I mean, I guess to back up, we make money primarily in three ways. One is just through using ad networks, display advertising.
And how many boxes do we have now? 5, right?
I think we have about 5.
Yeah, I'm on the homepage right now. Again, this is 100daysofrealfood.com, and I don't even see any ads on above the fold.
No, we don't have any above the fold. We never have.
Yeah, I mean, some people, they throw it above their header. And again, I mean, we could maybe make more money if we did that, but it just didn't feel right to us.
Love it.
Right. And so the other way is we have sponsorship packages. So we have a sales manager. So there's a couple little ad zones that she can sell, but then it also includes things like a blog shout out or perhaps a Facebook mention. Because Lisa has a very large Facebook following. It's currently about 1.3 million likes. So, but we always identify sponsors as sponsors, and we vet sponsors very heavily. As you do with affiliate partners, we only introduce things to our audience that we think will be of value or that we've used and personally endorsed typically.
Great. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here. Wow. Okay. Facebook page.
I'll let Lisa talk on that one.
Well, okay. Going back a little bit, Jason, you said ad networks, sponsorships, packages, which include maybe some spots on the site, as well as some shout outs on blog posts and stuff, and maybe social media. Well, you said there was a third way. Yeah,
the third way is affiliate income, and it's mainly through Amazon. Okay. And so our income, I mean, it depends on time of year, but it's roughly split, 1/3 for each of those three main revenue streams. And then we've just experimented with our own product. In January, we sold a school lunch meal plan for 2 weeks only, and that was a great success. So for anyone out there that's starting out monetizing, it can be a lot of work to create your own product, but it's profitable, and it's something you can do without a lot of traffic, basically.
Was that like an ebook or something you sold?
Pretty much, and I was only allowed to sell it for 2 weeks just because my publisher didn't want it to compete with my cookbook that's coming out later this year.
Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, and we'll talk about how that book deal came about in a second, but I want to go back to this 1.3 million Facebook likes. I mean, was that all organic and just through the content that you've written, or what? So no paid advertising for any of that?
I have never paid for advertising in any form ever. So yeah, it was all organic. At times I thought I knew where it was coming from, and most other times I had no idea where it was coming from. And I'll occasionally be like, so where did everybody find the page from? I think just different methods. But what I did early on, actually, I remember very early on staying up all night to get this thing done because I was so determined. But I created some meal plans. Another blogger, $5 Dinner Mom, I'll give her a shout out. She actually said to me, people, they don't know how to eat this way. If you made like a meal plan with exactly what to eat and a grocery list with exactly what to buy, they'd be all over it. So I did exactly that. And what the complicated part was like the, technical side of getting it to be a fan gate, to like my Facebook page so they could get it. So I did that. But I didn't just put it out there and then hope, for the best. I actually was very proactive about writing guest posts on other people's sites. And then I would be sure to mention my free meal plan, to get them started. And I remember, back in the day when I maybe only had a couple thousand Facebook fans, getting like thousands at a time within a week period with these guest posts. So that kind of got the ball rolling. And as Jason says, it's just, once you have so many, then you're starting to get that many new fans each week without anything extra.
Right. I love that strategy. I think, there's the guest posting aspect, which is really important. It helps put your brand in front of somebody else's, and you have that sort of trust factor. Somebody's sort of endorsing you to write on their blog, which then you're using Facebook to collect leads. Is that and get likes that way, right? You're driving people from the guest post to Facebook to not only like the page, but do they also get on your email list at the same time?
Well, then later I added I actually have 5 free meal plans, and the 5th one is you have to get on my email list to get that. So that kind of came later, and hindsight's 2020, right? So Facebook has not been all good lately. It actually hasn't been as great after the last algorithm changes, and I got hit pretty hard by those earlier this year in mid-January. So I kind of wish I would have done that with the email list sooner. But I still will never. I love interacting with people on Facebook. There's so many things you can do on social media that you just can't do on an email list, like share just randomly what I had for lunch, and I can push stuff out 5 times a day, where our email newsletter goes out once a week. So it's not as good as it used to be, but I just truly enjoy it, and I'm overflowing with like things to share on Facebook all the time for some reason. So I'm very authentic on there.
What's working best for you on Facebook right now? Like, I know there's obviously tons of different things you could share. What seems to be getting the most traction?
I hate to have to that I've had to resort to this, but just doing a good old teaser, saying not giving it all away on the Facebook post, but saying, gosh, I can't believe, that I ever hesitated doing number 1 on this list, and then putting it out there. And I hate that tactic, but so I try to still be like classy when I do it, but I've been experimenting a lot, and that does work. It does for a reason. It does.
A lot of those big sort of viral type sites like Viral Nova, they use those types of headlines on every post.
Yeah, I try not to do it that much.
That's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. It goes too far. But just perfect example. Last night, we had 4,000 people on the site at once right after a Facebook post because she did a teaser post instead of a regular one.
Mm-hmm.
4,000 people. That's crazy at the same time.
Yeah, but that's not our record.
The record, I think, is 9,000?
Something like 8 or 9.
9,000. Yeah. What caused that?
That was a teaser.
That was a teaser. Through social media or like an email?
Yes, through Facebook. And I will say that was like a Saturday, which is the lowest day of traffic. I feel like all those rules, I never follow the rules. They say only have short posts and only do this and do a picture. I don't follow any rules. I just post what I want, like whatever's on my mind. And if it's long, it's long. And so this was like, probably the worst day of the week to post anything. And it was a very authentic post, but it was something about like what my daughter had done earlier that day. And at the last minute, I was like, why don't I just do a little teaser? It was another numbered list. And I was floored with how many people, it like doubled our previous record. So
that's cool. That's so cool. I want to go back to really quick your dinner meal plans that you created.
They're not just dinner. They're breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think I wrote down $1. Five was it $5?
Oh, $5 dinner.
Mama. Oh no. Okay, that's where I got it. Sorry, my notes are all screwed up here.
Okay. Her name's Erin Chase, and she's the one who gave me that advice.
Erin Chase. I'll make sure to link to her on the show notes. And the reason I wanted to talk about that, because I think the strategy of just sharing exactly, because you had mentioned you're writing out the meal plans and, everything that people need to buy and everything people need to get, it makes it really easy for them, almost to the point they don't have to think, right?
Yeah, and I even put how much each item cost and like the total, and I mean it was a lot of work for me, and I put it out there for free.
See, that's cool. I mean, I think a lot of us in other industries can take this idea of sharing the recipes, for things and just giving people exactly what they want. And that is a great way to create a lead-in or a lead magnet for your email list. It's a great thing to just give away to your audience, just to give a little bit more value and make a deeper connection in a quick, easy way. So I think even though you guys are talking about food, everybody else out there who's not in the food space can still take those same strategies and create a recipe for success or a recipe for whatever it is that your goals are for your audience, and share that. And I have sort of, I try to do that in what I do, and I think everybody can benefit from thinking about the giveaways and the things that they have for the audience, sort of like recipes, and trying to make it as easy as possible to follow.
Yeah, I think it's the key to retaining people. So like when we had the big, burst of traffic from the Yahoo homepage, I was able to bump up my traffic on a regular basis because I retained people through that fan gate on my Facebook page. I've talked to other bloggers who have been in national media, and then their traffic just goes right back where it started because they didn't retain. That's like the hardest part, is to get them to stick around.
Right. And okay, let's say there's somebody out there listening and they have a blog and they're really passionate about it, and they might only have a couple thousand visitors a month. They're not nearly quite to your level yet, and have a small following on Facebook, a few hundred people. What would you suggest to those people to, expand and grow, and maybe the 20% that they would need to do to get 80% of the results? Maybe I'll start with Jason.
Okay. Well, I would really focus on your email list right now. And I actually got some advice from one of your podcasts about putting a email sign-up form like at the end of the blog post and before the comments. Mm-hmm. And for us, that is by far the highest converting spot. And we have actually like a 3D picture of the meal plan. People like to think of something as tangible. And so our email list right now, I think it's about 155,000. We get about 10,000 a month. We use like a hello bar at the top. But at any rate, because of what's going on with social media and you really don't want to build your house on rented land, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So, and really focus on connecting with your people, your audience, and getting feedback. So like with Pro Blog School, I started that in November. I have very low traffic, but I have a suggestion box, which has a form. And so I'm asking people, who else are you following? What's your biggest problem right now? What products could I make that would really help you? And I remember when we were hiking in Cinque Terre last summer, when we had the idea to come up with Pro Blog School, I was thinking, I'll take 6 months and make this really awesome, elaborate course. Lisa's like, no, dude, you need to start your site.
I don't think I said dude.
You guys aren't in California, are you? No, you're on the other side of the country.
Yeah. She said, no, Jason, you need to start a website and just bare bones. And so I literally had the sample theme from Genesis, bare bones, and just started interacting with people. And I really discovered something new about the audience. I thought I was going to be going after people more like at an intermediate level that needed to learn how to monetize. But there are a lot of beginners out there that even need help just setting up their site. And those would be future consumers of that content. Mm-hmm. So I've totally changed my strategy as a result. So start simple, listen to your readers.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jason. Lisa, how about you? What advice would you give to somebody who has a site and it might not be going the way they want to right now?
Well, I think it's kind of hard to answer that, to be honest, because I think, your topic is something that you need to be really passionate about. I think my site has grown tremendously because I'm so passionate about it and I have so much to share. And I'm never sure, I never have like writer's block, So mm-hmm. I think it's part just like blogging about the right topic, but also I think some luck plays into it because I also happen to become passionate about a topic that's like really popular right now and is just growing tremendously. So even like Walmart is starting to carry more organic foods. This is like going mainstream, So, yeah. So, I think it just, you hope that you have that formula that works together nicely. But I do agree with Jason about, listening to your readers. I learn from my readers all the time, and that helps me come up with ideas of what to write about. I do also sometimes just even take content I've maybe already shared and like package it up in a different way, and just always like soaking up information and getting ideas of what to write about and how to present it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that, both of you. Now, I want to ask you both sort of, what has been the biggest struggle with what you have going on. Things are going really well, but I know, I mean, I'm doing really well too, but there are things that I still struggle with as well. What are some of the things that you guys struggle with in business, and what are you doing to work through those struggles?
Well, I mean, the first thing on the top of my mind right now is Facebook, just because it was going amazingly well. As far as my reach, I would, so I have 1.3 million fans, and it's been, in that range for some time. And I used to easily be able to reach like 500,000, 700,000 people, no problem. And it's like, if you look at the insights graph on my Facebook page, it literally drops off like a cliff on January 13th. I don't know why. And so it's been frustrating, like almost like not as fun, that piece of it, which I always thought was very fun, because it's like I put something out there and then I see 50 or 100,000 people see it, and it's frustrating. And I would compare like a very similar post from a few months prior, and 10 times as many people would see it. So that reach, the change in reach has been frustrating for me. But I mean, we're still totally fine, and we're going to have to come up with a new model for our sponsors that doesn't just rely on a Facebook shout out. And it's all, we're going to roll with the punches, but that has been out of my control, and probably the first aspect of all this that's really been frustrating for me.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you off, Jason. I mean, for everybody out there listening, 50 to 100,000 sounds like a lot, but when you have 1.3 million,
I know.
And
well, I said that to my girlfriend. I'm only reaching 50,000 people. She was like, "Wait, is that good or bad?"
Well, I'm seeing those same statistics, and I saw the same drop. I have 60,000+ followers on Facebook, and I'm only reaching between 8 and 12, depending on the viralness of the particular post that I write. Now, I am doing things like including images and things like that, which do get spread, a little bit further, but it's nowhere near where it was. It's still working really well for me, but it is definitely a struggle. And I think, Jason, I appreciate what you said. You don't want to build on somebody else's land, and that's why the email list is incredibly important. And I have to second that for sure.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, so last year we averaged 3.5 million page views a month. January is our biggest time, and also Facebook was working, so to speak, for the first half of that month, and we had over 5 million page views that month. Now we're down to about 3.7. So our actual traffic has dropped about 25% as a result, and all that traffic is monetized through the things I've done on the page. So it totally hits our bottom line. But rather than be dejected about it, we have to look at it as, hey, that was a great opportunity. I mean, we started diversifying early on because we knew like something like this could happen. But at the same time, we weren't going to turn our back on the opportunity while it was fun and while it was really providing a lot of reach.
Yeah, I just hate how it kind of took the fun out of things for a little while. But I did have 2 posts yesterday on Facebook that each reached over 800,000. So I guess depending on what you're writing about, it can still give you that light of hope that's good.
Well, really what's going on is it's almost like it's really polar. It's so if you hit a certain threshold in a certain amount of time, it's like then they open the gates and it can go. But if you don't hit that very quickly, then it kind of fizzles. Right. So anyway, but I would like to respond with a couple challenges on the operation side.
Please.
And we've built so fast, and I'm trying to remember the podcast number. It was, it was 103, Stop Being a Superhero. I love that. I just listened to that in the car. And that's really it, is being able to delegate and automate as much as possible, and not to confuse being busy for being productive. I mean, in addition to income, what I really crave is freedom. Freedom to work on the things like writing blog posts, or, writing an ebook or something, or interacting with customers, doing whatever, maybe starting a podcast, who knows, something fun, not the operations side of things. So really ramping up your team as quickly as possible. We have 7 part-time people, and it is super important. And it's a challenge, because you're dealing with people.
Right. Do you ever think that you'd have a team of 7 people working for you when you first started this, Lisa?
Never in a million years.
And how is that like? I don't know if you've hired them all at once or just over time, but how is that feeling now too?
It's awesome, because we are so lucky. At least the people that I've hired, well, now all of them. Jason had a little struggle with the assistant for him for a little while, but now he actually hired one of my friends. So I can say that all the people on our team are really amazing. I mean, they're a joy to work with. I try to be like flexible and reasonable, in working with them. And I also am not one of those to breathe down their neck. I feel like we have somebody who answers comments on the blog. I mean, that's a whole job. Someone who answers Facebook comments and also does our Pinterest page. And then, the sales manager that Jason mentioned and, and a couple others. And I think they're all they're a joy to work with. So that's really, we're very fortunate for that.
That's cool. How did you find these people that you've hired?
All friends of friends. And again, Jason, he tried to just go out and hire, somebody through like an application process. He went through 2 different people for an assistant job and it just did not work out. So I think it's nice I don't ever want to hire like a really good friend because I don't want to damage the relationship, but like friends of friends are a great place to start.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Thank you for that. And a couple more questions. Now, you had mentioned earlier, Lisa, that this is a trending topic, and that's obviously helped with the growth of your site. But that also probably means there's a lot of other sites out there talking about the same stuff, and I know there are because I follow a lot of them. And so, how do you and what do both of you guys do, and what do you strategize about to stand out from everybody else out there talking about the same thing? What are some of the things that make you guys unique, and why you feel your audience is with you instead of some other people?
Well, I do feel like I maybe started a little sooner than some of these other sites. But I agree. Sometimes I look out there and I say, God, there are so many sites talking about real food. Moms trying to feed their family right. And I mean, it's not really a conscious strategy. I'm just myself. And I mean, that's the easiest thing I can be. And from the get-go, I wanted to talk to my old self because I was clueless about the foods we were eating, and I didn't realize that they were not good for us and that they were highly processed. So I'm always trying, and then like once I had the information, I thought, well, this has to change. So I'm always trying to talk to my old self. And again, it's nothing conscious. I'm just myself, and I don't know. I guess it just works. I'm sorry I don't have some more specific advice on that one.
No, I mean, that's great advice. And I think a lot of people try to be somebody else when they should probably use what they have that nobody else has, which is their own experience and themselves.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's really important to identify who your reader is and speak to them in a language they can understand and relate to them. So like with my blog, I'm years in and I'm very sophisticated in some of the work I do, but I really have to think back to when I was first starting out and remember that frustration and, how ignorant I was, how I just had no idea where to start. And so it takes a lot longer for me to write posts because I go the extra mile. And I mean, I was up till 1:30 last night working on a post because you have to hold their hand and really give them what they need, and then they'll totally identify with it. And if you can give them wins, they'll attribute that success to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll also just add really quickly, I am also very realistic. I don't know it all, by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm very upfront about that. And I do know some people have given me feedback that that's what they like about my site is they feel like I'm just like them. I'm just a regular, mom just like them. People say that a lot.
And one last thing, I think authenticity is huge. I mean, every decision we make, we think about, are we being authentic? Is this who we really are? Are we keeping our readers' best interests in mind? And like with my site, Pro Blog School, I'm not a site writing about making money online. It's not like a pyramid scheme. Like I'm using a real life example and giving people behind the scenes information on how we're able to succeed.
Right, and that's absolutely important. And as everybody out there knows, that's what's helped me grow as a blogger, especially in this very crowded and almost very negative sort of space. I've been able to sort of come out as the authentic person because I am just being myself, and I always keep my readers, at the top of every decision that I make. And so I really, really appreciate you guys saying that. Now, to finish up, let's talk about this book deal because that sounds really cool, and I know. I'm curious to hear the story of how this book deal happened and how the process has been. We've had a number of people on the show before who have gone through the process of writing a book, both self-published, traditionally published. Sounds like you're going traditional. Can you talk about how this came about and your decision to go traditional, if that is the case, and how's it been?
From the get-go, I just wanted it to be, like in the bookstore. If I was going to do this, I was always like, if I write a book, this was not like a childhood dream of mine, back to how I didn't do very well in English. But it felt like the next step, with where the blog was headed. And so, and I am kind of can be ambitious at times. So I really just had that in mind. And so I have a friend of a friend who published a book with HarperCollins, and she put me in touch with her literary agent. And the first time I talked to the literary agent, I thought I was feeling all, I don't know if you can cuss on here. No. Okay. I was feeling,
Thank you.
I was feeling very proud of my numbers at the time. And so I had about 100,000 page views, and I think I had like a couple thousand Facebook fans. And so I approached this agent, and she, basically just handed it right back to me and said, you need hundreds of thousands of page views and tens of thousands of Facebook fans before any big publisher is going to consider you. So I just really took that and ran with it. And that's actually the point when, I developed the meal plans and really started to focus on how to like get the word out there. And, as much as my site was not about like building the traffic, that's kind of fun, So that's when I really put my mind to it. And so I went back to her several months later and was like, hey, check me out now. And so, so I had exceeded what she said I would need. And then I went through the long process of writing the book proposal. It was like 60 pages long.
Wow.
And I had to have 3 sample chapters. And even though I had this whole blog to share, they still wanted that. And then she went out and basically put my proposal out there to maybe like a dozen or more publishers. I can't remember the exact number. And it's like, you never know what's going to happen, if you're going to hear right away, or if it's going to, if there's going to be interest or not. And I had no idea what to expect, but within like 24 hours, she started getting interest, and it was so exciting. I could hardly contain myself.
Cool.
So I started to hear back, and it ended up going to auction. So that was pretty exciting. And then HarperCollins actually put in a preempt, which is an offer to kind of like take it off the table so it won't go to auction. And so that it by far exceeded my expectations. And then I started the really long, difficult process of actually writing the book, which was honestly the hardest I've ever worked in my whole life. Forget college exams or any of that. It was because it's like an extension of me, and I didn't want it just to be this book. I want it to be, awesome and everything, people would want. And it was very hard.
I've heard that several times from authors. Some people have said that on the show. It was one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, I wonder if I'll do it again. I'm not sure.
How long?
Never say never.
And how long did it take you to finish and have that final version?
Well, so the manuscript, I guess I signed like in July of, what year was that? 2012, I think. And then the manuscript was due March 1st, 2013. And then that was kind of an interesting process, because then I didn't really hear very much for quite a while. And my book was supposed to come out in January, and I busted my butt to turn it in on time, because I really wanted that, that peak time of January of this year for it to come out. And then all of a sudden by the fall, I'm like, okay, if we haven't started editing yet, is this really happening? And so long story short, it's not. And I got delayed, and I guess that happens sometimes. And I'm just trying to roll with it. They actually wanted to delay it to May, but that's a horrible time, in my opinion, for my book to come out, because that's when all the moms that's most of my audience.
That's when
moms.
School's about to end.
Yeah, that school's going to be out. Everybody, people are kind of, they're going on summer vacation, and we see, I have a couple years now under my belt of seeing the traffic. It definitely does not go up in May, but it really does in August for back to school. So I said, if we're going to wait, I would much rather just wait a couple more months and have it come out at a much better time of year. So, so it has been a very long process.
That's crazy. It makes you wonder how, if there's time sensitive stuff and current events, and you're trying to write a book about that, would it be old by the time it comes out?
Yeah, in the editing process, I have to change things. Like, for example, my daughter's no longer 7; she's 9. It's like crazy.
That's so interesting. Wow, thank you for being honest and sharing all that. And we obviously wish you all both the best of luck when it comes out, and please let me know when it does, so I can take a look and share it, and put a link in this in the show notes here.
Thank you.
So
you can put a link now. It's available for pre-order on Amazon.
Oh, where at? It's on 100daysofrealfood.com?
Well, just to go to Amazon, and you can type in 100 Days Real Food, and it's already available for pre-order. So you could put a link now if you really want.
Okay, awesome. I will do that. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you wanted to leave, just based off of your experience here, just creating 100 Days of Real Food, one final tip for everybody out there from both of you. We'll start with Jason and then finish up with Lisa. Is just to help and give some encouragement to people out there listening. Just any final words of wisdom, Jason.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to experiment. I mean, just go out there and do. There's such a fast feedback loop on with the internet business. It's truly amazing. So just try something out, see the results, and drop stuff that's not working, and then focus on the things that are or that make you happy.
I love that. That's how I run my business, and I definitely think that's how everybody should run their business for sure. Thank you, Lisa.
I would say, no matter where your journey takes you, don't lose sight of like why you started your website in the first place. Because I started mine to help people. For us to cut out processed food was so challenging. I literally lost sleep over it. And so I worked so hard to figure it out. I wanted to, share on my blog everything I learned to make it easier for other people. And I try never to lose sight of that, no matter what the numbers say or, what Facebook does. But I think that's really important to remember kind of where you came from.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for your time today. And if people want to go visit your website, that's 100daysofrealfood.com. Jason's blogging site is at problogschool.com. And where can people find you on social media?
Well, 100 Days Real Food /Facebook. I'm always there.
All right.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook too.
It's facebook.com/100 Days Real Food. I said it backwards.
It's okay. It could be a redirect, actually.
Yeah, I don't actually have that link.
Yeah, but we're both really pushing the email list. So just go to the homepage and subscribe if you want to get updates. And if I may throw in one plug, Pat,
please.
I'm working on an income calculator I'm super excited about because I think it's going to help people quite a bit. So I'm not sure when this podcast will be published, but if you go to problogschool.com/income, you'll see it or see that it's coming soon.
An income calculator, what is that?
Well, you'll be able to answer some basic questions about your blog, like your traffic, your email subscribers, and then based on where you are, it will reveal different options to monetize your blog, and you can turn things on and off, and then it'll show you and also calculate expenses, your income per 1,000 page views, per month, and per year.
Potential income.
Right.
Okay, so it's not like I push a button and all of a sudden I start making that money.
No, but I think it'll be insanely useful for people. There are a lot of people that are delusional. They have no idea.
Oh, for sure.
They think, if I just start a blog, I'm going to be, rolling. And then likewise, other people, they would like to get an estimate to help them make business decisions. So I think it'll be a lot of fun for people to use.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jason. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Again, 100daysofrealfood.com. Go check it out. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Great. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks a lot, Pat.
Thank you. All right. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Lisa and Jason Leek from 100daysofrealfood.com. If both of you are listening to this, thank you so much for the inspiration and all the education. And congratulations to you on all of your success. And I'm sure there's going to be much, much more in the future. For those of you listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please head on over to iTunes, look for this show, Smart Passive Income, and please leave a review for the show. It helps with rankings. It helps keep me motivated to keep going. Just thank you. Thank you so much for that. I also want to mention this episode's sponsor, which is 99designs.com. If you go to 99designs.com/SPI, we're running a special promo where you can go, if you go through that link, 99designs.com/SPI, when you launch your design contest, you'll get a free Power Pack upgrade, which is valued at $99. Now, I love 99 Designs because it's a no-risk, flexible way to get the designs you want. You get hundreds of designers potentially to submit their own version of what you want, and you get to pick the one that you like best. They sort of like a design contest, and the winner of that contest gets the money that was spent to create the contest. It's awesome. So I've used it several times in several different businesses, including a few things that you may have seen on Smart Passive Income here and there. Now, one more time, that link is 99designs.com/SPI. Thank you to the folks at 99 Designs for being awesome and sponsoring the show. And the last thing I want to say is this. You're awesome. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Thank you so much for listening to the end. You are amazing. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know that you like this episode at Pat Flynn. And also, I'll see you on the Facebook page, facebook.com/smartpassiveincome. Thanks so much. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode of Smart Passive Income Podcast. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free, personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands.